How do you send a package to space? The SpaceX Dragon secret mission. Somewhere above your head, 400 kilometers up in the sky, 6 astronauts are floating inside a metal laboratory the size of a football field. And last week, SpaceX just delivered their groceries, plus something far more interesting. On May 15, 2026, a SpaceX rocket lifted off from Florida carrying a spacecraft called Dragon. 2 days later, Dragon docked with the ISS, also called the International Space Station, delivering about 2,950 kilograms of cargo. That's roughly the weight of 2 small cars, all packed into a single spacecraft. This type of mission is called CRS, Commercial Resupply Services, Mission 34. It's the 34th time SpaceX has delivered supplies to the ISS. On board, food, replacement parts, medical equipment, and 20 different science experiments. A bone experiment made from wood. One of the most surprising experiments is called green bone. Scientists took a piece of natural wood from a tree and treated it to act like a tiny scaffold, like the metal frame inside a building. Then they loaded it with human bone cells. Their question: in microgravity, the environment of the space station, will those bone cells grow into wood more evenly and completely than they would on Earth? If this works, this could one day help people with osteoporosis, a disease that makes bones thin and easy to break, especially in older people. More than 200 million people around the world have it. A better bone scaffold grown in space could lead to better treatments on Earth. Another experiment looked at how red blood cells change during space travel. Red blood cells carry oxygen around your body. In space, they behave differently. And scientists want to understand how to protect astronauts on long future missions to Mars. Why does everything float in space? Here's the question that trips everyone up. If there's no gravity in space, how do spaceships stay in orbit? And if there is gravity, why does everything float? The answer is both things are true at the same time. Earth's gravity doesn't suddenly disappear when you're 400 kilometers up. In fact, the gravity pulling on the ISS is about 90% as strong as the gravity you feel right now. So why do things float? Imagine you're in the elevator and the cable snaps. For that falling moment, you and everything around would float inside the elevator. It's not because gravity disappeared. It's because you and the elevator are both falling at the exact same speed. Everything falls together, so nothing feels heavy relative to anything else. The ISS does something similar. It's falling toward Earth constantly, but it's also moving sideways so incredibly fast, about 27,600 kilometers per hour, that it keeps missing the ground. It just keeps falling around Earth in a big curve, over and over. That's what an orbit is. And everything inside the ISS is falling with it at the same speed, so nothing pushes down on the floor. Nothing has weight. Scientists call this state microgravity. Not zero gravity, but a condition where the effects of gravity become almost impossible to feel. Why is that good for science? On Earth, gravity is constantly pulling everything downward. Liquids settle to the bottom, heavy particles sink. Crystals grow unevenly because gravity tugs at them as they form. In microgravity, all of that interference disappears. Crystals grow in perfect shapes that would be impossible on Earth. Cells spread more evenly through a scaffold. Liquids don't separate by weight. Scientists can study materials in ways that are simply impossible in any lab on the ground. The ISS is the only laboratory in the world, well, above the world, where these experiments can be done. Not because of the view, because of the physics. Dragon will stay docked at the ISS for about a month, then will undock, re-enter Earth's atmosphere, and splash down in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California, bringing finished experiments home with it. If you could send one science experiment to the space station, what would you test in microgravity? Leave your idea in the comments. The more creative, the better.